Yep, we are back with another episode, and today we're going to get into Carlson. And in this episode, he says a lot, right? He also admits to being Qatar first. So let's check out this video. There's, one thing I realized is that he makes a lot of, he spreads a lot of false information, and we're here to debunk it. I'm gonna go through the whole video. I think someone needs to shed light to this. Let's check it out, everyone. Apologize, guys. I need to switch my settings.
Border and hunting with my college roommates, and all of a sudden I check my phone, you have 400 texts, and they're like, Nazi! And I was like, oh, turning this off. I still haven't replied yet.
Unsubscribe.
No, I've been through this before.
Yes, of course you have. I mean,
He's already playing the victim that he's calling him a Yahtzee, right? The main point is that he doesn't want to address that he hosted a Yahtzee, and that's the whole focus on it, and he's going to try to deflect. But let's continue to watch.
everybody has. As I was, just recounting, I was a racist in literally every newspaper in the country. It's like, this is what they say. They go to the worst possible place to paint anything you do as an attempt, I think, to delegitimize you. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why Nick Fuentes.
I interviewed Fuentes. Well, I should just give the publicly available information on this, which is that I was in an extremely personal and bitter war with Fuentes like 3 weeks ago. It mostly wasn't public, but Fuentes was attacking my father, a subject I have like literally no sense of humor. My father passed in March, and was really kind of the patriarch. Not kind of, he was the patriarch in our family and a hero to every person in our family. And some of what Fuentes was saying about my dad was true, okay, which made it.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw that debate with Tucker Carlson on TPUSA when that kid brought up his father, just a little bit from Nick Fuentes. All that kid mentioned was that your father is CIA, and Tucker Carlson actually told him that he would fight him for it. But when he hosted Nick Fuentes, he didn't mention it at all. So the person that actually said vile things about his father, he didn't say anything, like he didn't address that issue on his show with Nick Fuentes. He even let him bypass on that. So mind you, I just wanted to add that.
Worse. But I was just so offended by that. I couldn't deal with it. And my son and my wife. So, I was really mad at Fuentes, and then I did an interview, and just out of the, I was so mad it like popped out, and I attacked Nick Fuentes. In this interview, this was last month, I think, ish. And then I got all these calls from people saying, do you know anything about, I don't know anything really about Nick Fuentes, other than he's attacking my dad, my wife, and my son. And it was like, actually, Nick Fuentes is the single most influential commentator among young men. Like, period.
He's got 5 million subscribers on Rumble.
It's bonkers. And I didn't know any of it. I mean, I'm 56, so I'll just like state the obvious, like
He's not our demo.
My oldest child is 31, like much older than Nick Fuentes. So I kind of missed a lot of this stuff. I pride myself on not missing things. I totally missed that. Really? And then it turns out that,
I might add, what does it matter if he has such a big following? And on top of it, guys, I hope you know that he is bot farming. Majority of the interaction on his lives are not real. He is bot farming. And what does it matter? So he was just talking about how upset he was when the fact that he spoke shit about his father, and it makes a big difference that he has a big platform. That's why it's okay not to get at him for saying shit about your father. It's okay for him saying shit about Hitler. Like, he said a lot of crazy things about like a lot of different races, and he didn't hold them accountable for it.
He has no advertisers. They've been trying to cancel him since freshman year in college. Ben Shapiro actually tried to shut him down freshman year in college, and it didn't work. In fact, it had the opposite effect. So I was like, and so I talked to a million people I know, like, maybe I should interview Nick Fuentes to hear what is this actually? And so I decided to do it, and I thought it would be controversial. I didn't think it would become what it's become.
So he's basically admitting that he knew that this dude was like, you know, black labeled, and now he was kind of interested because he still had a big like following, so that's why he decided to take him on, just because he had a big following. It's pretty sad to say.
I'm not going to offer any defense other than, you know, it's kind of interesting. I've interviewed I'm doing this for 34 years, so I've interviewed everybody, most of them bad people, to be honest.
Right.
I interviewed Liberian militia leaders during the Liberian Civil War, all cannibals, every single one of them. It tasted human flesh. And first of all, I kind of like them. I'm just being honest, because I like people. Don't agree with cannibalism. Pretty opposed.
For the record.
But I'm just that way. I just like people. And the closer, if you can like smell someone and talk to them, like, it's hard to not see the human in the person, even if he's a cannibal.
Did the Liberian cannibal smell good?
Kind of rank, to be honest. Actually, during the interview, I'll never forget this. I was in Africa to cover the Civil War, and I'm interviewing this guy, and he was like, you know, Commander Butt Naked, or it wasn't actually Commander Butt Naked, who was a famous militia leader during that war, who fought, needless to say, butt naked. But I'm interviewing this guy, and his cell phone goes off, and it's the Woody Woodpecker theme song. Da 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 da. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're human. It was like hilarious. Anyway, the point is, none of those were controversial. Like, I interview people who are hated, in some cases like demonstrably evil, and I ask them, why did you do that? And what's your account of yourself? Like, tell me who you are. What do you believe? Mm-hmm. And that was the first thing I wanted to achieve with Nick Fuentes. Like, what is this? Tell me. You know, I'll give you 2 hours. I have only watched your clips, they're like a minute long. I want to hear, like, why don't you describe what you think? Because I think that's the small role that I play, which is to get documentary evidence of people describing what they think. I did it with Putin. I'll probably do.
The problem is that when he interviewed him, he didn't ask him any questions. He had Ted Cruz, and he knew exactly what to ask Ted Cruz and how to get at him for different points. He could have done the same thing with Nick Fuentes, but he decided not to. He knew exactly what he was doing, like Ben Shapiro said. He was giving Nick Fuentes a catapult in his career. That's exactly, he admitted it earlier. He's like, oh, what is going on? He's not canceled. Let's give him a platform. Like, let's make him mainstream.
Person in the world, because I'm interested. Not because I agree with him, because I think it's interesting. And second, I wanted to say something very specific to Nick Fuentes, and it's this, and I said it, which is, I think it's totally legitimate to criticize any foreign country, from Belgium to Congo to Israel, because they're foreign countries.
Yes.
And I'll never give up that right. In fact, it's an obligation, I would say, and to be reasonable about it, and not, you know, but what's in America's interest? Totally legitimate. It is totally illegitimate and very specifically unchristian to attack people for their DNA. Like, I hate this group.
You wanted him to hear that.
We all have to hear that. And because that is the basis of Western civilization. Western civilization is derived from.
No, but what did happen? Like, why didn't he press him on that? If that's what he wanted to tell him, but he forgot to mention that you're a Yahtzee, and to be racist someone based on their color or their religion is racist. Now he's saying it. He said he wanted to say it, but why didn't he say it? Just doesn't make sense.
Core difference between the West and the rest of the world, not just Israel, but every other country, is that we don't believe in collective punishment because we don't believe in blood guilt. We don't believe that you are born guilty, and we also don't believe that you're born virtuous. We believe that God created every person as an individual. God did not create communities.
You know, to be honest, it's like he brought up Nick Fuentes. He's saying to tell him that it's bad to be racist and it's okay to talk about the country. Like what the hell is he talking about? Like you bring up Nick Fuentes to tell him that? Obviously Nick Fuentes doesn't care about the whole thing. He openly says Jews. He's lying. He never brought any of this up to him.
To a human being, and every person has the spark of God inside him. I mean, that's what we believe as Christians. And every person has the possibility of redemption. And in my religion, the great human hero, in Christianity, Jesus is God in human form. But the great human hero in the New Testament is its primary author, Paul, who was Saul of Tarsus, who was the primary persecutor as a Pharisee of Christians. He was murdering Christians. He was Jewish, by the way, so like everyone in the New Testament, but he was on the way to go murder more Christians, that he met Jesus, and then he became the great evangelist of our faith and wrote the majority of the New Testament. So like he's my personal hero, but he's also living testament to the truth about people, which is each one of us was born as an individual and we will face God alone at the end.
Hold up, did he just compare Nick Fuentes to him? Like, this is crazy. What is he trying to say here?
To account for our lives, and along the way there is always the possibility that no matter what your genes are, what you look like, or what your religion is, that you can change and that you can be saved by Jesus. That is Christianity in 3 sentences. And so that is reflected, even for people who aren't Christians, that is reflected in an ethical framework and a legal code that is the only truly unusual and great thing about the West, which is we do not punish the innocent. We only punish the guilty.
You know, the funny part is, how in the hell did he switch this up? He switched it up from Nick Fuentes to collective punishment, and he's trying to say that we don't do collective punishment. Who does? Israel doesn't do collective punishment. And he's just going to bring up a lame excuse, so let's continue to watch.
We don't throw your kids in jail. We don't execute your cousins. We don't commit genocide against your whole tribe. We punish you because you did it. We treat each person as an individual. That is Western civilization. That's a Christian understanding. It does not derive from any other religion. Christianity alone.
Okay, so this dude is lying. So even in America, if you have someone that is using a house to basically do a T attack, right? As soon as you get caught, it's automatically that the squad will come to your house. Okay, and they will even arrest people in the house if there's something dangerous in the house, right? So I don't understand what he's talking about. He's just singling Israel out to something that even America does. If you go do a T attack, the SWAT is coming to your house. If there's anything in the house, the family will get arrested. So
alone, unique, makes that claim. And that's the basis of our justice system, which, again, even non-Christians appreciate. That's why they move here, because it's self-evidently more humane. That's where the idea of human rights come from. They're not collective rights. It's not that your tribe has rights and his tribe doesn't. It's you as an individual have rights. And that idea is not only being challenged in our country, it's being disregarded. It's disregarded in DEI. It's disregarded in affirmative action. Identity politics is a refutation of that idea. We are awarding some people something because of how they were born and hurting others for the same reason. That is anti-Western, it's evil, and it leads, in the end, inexorably to genocide. That is the root idea behind what happened in Europe in the 40s under the Nazis. It's the root idea behind what happened in Rwanda in 1994.
See, once again, this dude, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? He's mixing up a lot of different things, and I was trying to say that Israel intends to unalive these people. And right away, this is straight up deflection 101. He was supposed to talk about the fact that about him and Nick Fuentes, him paneling a Yahtzee, but all he does is just falsely try to say that Israel does collective punishment, Israel does G-side with no basis to it, right? Everyone knows that Israel does not have the intention to unalive the innocent people. And he just continues to use these words even though they have no basis.
Yep, just saying, behind what's happening in Gaza right now, where it's like, we're going to kill the kids too, we don't care. And we're going to, by the way, move everyone out because they're a people that is fundamentally opposed to us. Yeah, well, I'm not for that. Sorry, because that's not the Western understanding of justice. We punish the guilty.
Hold up. What is this guy talking about? Right? It's Israel. The only reason why Israel is moving them is not to ethnically cleanse them, but Israel is moving them out of war zones. Right? This guy, he continues to lie without any context. And he just making baseless accusations without giving us anything specific. So that's why Israel moves them, not to ethnically cleanse them, is because they're in war zones. Israel creates humanitarian zones where they could go to, where there's plenty of food, water, electricity, hospitals. But no, if Israel's trying to save them by moving them to humanitarian zones, it's considered G-side according to him. See, all these baseless claims, and yet he has no refutation from Megyn Kelly.
Alone, we do not punish the innocent. Period. And that's not racism, and in fact, it's the answer to racism. It's the answer to anti-Semitism. It's why anti-Semitism is wrong. It's why racism is wrong. No, you're not better than me. No, you're not worse than me because of how you were born. You're the same as me because we were both created by God. Period. So the whole idea of things.
So his whole point was here is to deflect from everything, from the racist that he is, and all he wants to do is just try to portray that Israel is somehow racist, right? Israel is somehow racist by trying to move these guys away from humanitarian zones. Israel is racist for every good thing that they do. But yet he's not a racist. He just had Nick Fuentes. He's supposed to be answering about Nick Fuentes, but all he does is continue to make lies about Israel to deflect from him.
Thinking of people as members of tribes, any tribe, including my tribe, is prima facie immoral. And yet it is the operating idea behind so much of our politics. And I reject it. I reject it when it manifests as anti-Semitism. I reject it when it manifests as anti-white racism, which has, been pretty common. I know we're not supposed to say it, but it's real. But I'm not mad about that just because my kids are white, which they are. I'm mad about that because the idea is immoral, it's anti-Christian, and that is the destruction of the West. And so
yeah, so how come you don't care when the Jews are getting that same hate? Right? You want to see, this guy loves flip-flopping. He's not going to get to he's straight up deflecting.
we're defending when Mark Levin's like, we're defending Western civilization, or Randy Fine, who's like, yeah, we just have to kill every Palestinian because they're Palestinian so we can defend Western civilization. I'm like, no.
Hold up, Randy Fine never said that. See, he keeps on making all of this base. I actually looked it up. Randy Fine did not say that. So he's just continuing. I apologize for the background, but he continuously is making all of this baseless accusations. Go up and look up where Randy Fine says that we should unalive every single Palestinian. I looked it up. I couldn't find it. Once again, making blatant lies.
No. You are the enemy of Western civilization because collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization. Period.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to say, and I said it, and they called me a Nazi, and I'm like, actually, I hate the Nazis for that.
Once again, he somehow became the victim for paneling a literal Yahtzee. We're going to get into that. Actually, Nick Fuentes likes being called a Yahtzee, and we're going to play that right after. So he could play the diversion bullshit all he wants, but there is a lot more to it, so just continue to listen.
Specific reason.
But wait, what I hear you saying, sort of, is that you wanted to reach him. You wanted him.
Of course I want to reach him and everyone watching.
But were you
If you wanted to reach him, why didn't you question any of his like crazy thoughts? He hates black people, he hates Jews. Like you couldn't mention any of it. He said he loves Hitler, he loves Stalin. There is a lot of things that you could bring up if you want to change him. You have to basically challenge his thoughts, and Tucker, he didn't do any of that.
trying to help him in a way?
I want to tell the truth as I understand it with the ever-present knowledge that I'm kind of a buffoon and I'm often wrong. I supported the Iraq War. I remind myself of that every single day. I've made a ton of mistakes, a ton of errors and judgments. I've been carried away by enthusiasm and particularly by anger many times in my life. So with that knowledge, knowing that I am imperfect and I don't always possess the truth, okay? You always have to remember that because I'm not God. I still want to tell the truth as clearly and completely as I can in every venue, in every conversation, as fearlessly and without shame as I possibly can. And that's why Nazi Week doesn't bother me anymore, because I'm not a Nazi. I'm a Christian. Of
course. So what about, I don't want to spend the whole time on this, but I am curious. The main criticism, as I understand it,
I just wanted to add that there was many Yazidis that were Christians, by the way. So I don't understand how him just continuously just saying Christian as if it makes any sense. So what? The Yazidis, there was a lot of Yazidis that are Christian. There's a lot of white supremacists that are Christian nationalists. So what?
Platforming, they say that. I don't accept platforming as a valid objection.
When is that a verb, by the way? You take a noun and you make it into a verb and nobody says anything? As a former editor, I say no.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Honestly, but as far as I know, Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anyone. You know, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, and he was platformed by Diane Sawyer.
Dude, we have a sitting member of Congress. I spoke to the Speaker of the House about this today. We have a sitting member of Congress from Florida called Randy Fine.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that he did not eat people, so he's not such a bad person? And now this dude is going to compare Randy Fine, a congressman, to Nick Fuentes. This is absurd, really.
Who was literally texted or put on Twitter, we should kill them all. Every single one. Someone texted a picture of...
Okay, that's exactly what... He did not say any of that. You see, he's straight up he's making shit up and he's not being checked. Right? And he just wants to deflect. Do you see how this guy keeps on deflecting from Nick Fuentes? Every single time.
Of a dead baby, and he laughs at it. And it's like, this guy's a lawmaker who's appropriating money to a military committing genocide, and that's cool? It's not cool.
No.
And let's just be honest. That is much worse than anything Nick Fuentes has said. Period.
So the main pushback has been...
You see, once again, do you see how he takes the shift away from Nick Fuentes? Right away, as soon as he mentions Nick Fuentes, like, oh, but what about what this and that person said? That is called doing whataboutism. He obviously does not want to address the issue. He wants to do whataboutism, but what about Randy Fine said, which he did not say. And even if he did, he is deflecting from Nick Fuentes. Right away, I could do this all day. As soon as somebody brings up, oh, but what about what this person said? What about what that person said? That's not addressing the issue, and you could tell he is deflecting.
When you had Jeffrey Dahmer or the Ku Klux Klan, or et cetera, these journalists went after them, like exposed the terrible things. And Nick Fuentes has said a long list of very vile things.
Big time, including attacking my dad, which was the most vile of all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean...
So, in his opinion, the most vile thing that Nick Fuentes said, him saying he loves Hitler, saying the N-word, saying things about black people, saying a lot of crazy things, and according to Tucker, the most vile things that that Nick Fuentes said is that, oh, your father is a CIA and he used to spread propaganda. So that is the worst thing, in his opinion, that Nick Fuentes has said. How batshit crazy is that? Crazy.
The Holocaust, likening it to baking cookies in the oven, and there's no way you could have gotten to 6 million. Seems to be his theory. He seems to think that we've way overstated the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. He's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms. Which I mean, so what do you say to those people who say, why didn't you raise any of that?
You know, do your own interview the way that you want.
Once again, you see? Do your own interview. What do you want from me? Right? You saw before, like 2 seconds before this, you saw him breathe in every time Megyn Kelly kept on stating the shit that he said. He was breathing in. And in the end of the day, he said, I do whatever I want, even though he's a Yahtzee, right? You call him up on your show and you eat him out. I mean, that sounded wrong, but you question him. So once again, this guy's master of deflection. He knows what he's doing and he does not care. And he just said it.
To do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off. I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you his cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you. I got the same thing with Putin. Why aren't you yelling at him? Okay, why? So I can show that I'm a good person? I care about what my wife thinks, my children think, and God thinks, and that's it. I don't need to prove that I'm a good person to you. You may think I'm a terrible person. Okay, I'm just doing my thing, which is I want to understand what people think. And
if you wanted to understand what people think, you should have asked him, why do you love Hitler? Right? Why do you dislike black people? Why did you say that girls loved being raped? Right? You want to know what people feel like? Those are real journalistic questions to ask from somebody as vile as him. It's to find out why he actually hates people the way that he does. But no.
And if you don't like it, don't watch. That's my view. Yep. But that doesn't mean that I share the views. I'm not telling Nazi jokes, obviously, or Holocaust jokes. I mean, please. And I don't, I'm not telling him even in private because I'm not into that at all.
Do you know what's so funny? I'm actually going to play that right after. We have Nick Fuentes actually calling what this going on here, making fun of it, comparing it to a Holocaust. He's calling it, Nick Fuentes right now is calling this a Tucker host. Yep. He comparing this to a Holocaust, making fun of it, and it's pretty crazy how he's saying I'm not making fun of it. But yeah, Nick Fuentes is doing that right now as we speak. I'm actually going to play that video right after.
But I will say, just since you brought it up, one thing that did bother me was the Usha Vance thing. And I generally make it a practice not to be like, you said this and da-da-da-da-da, and the internet tells me, or, the ADL says you said this. It's like, why don't you just tell me what you do think? Like, why don't you speak for yourself? Because we're adults. That is my approach with everybody, whether I like him or don't like him. But the Usha Vance thing did upset me because I know Usha Vance and I love Usha Vance, and I was really offended by that, just personally because I know her, right? And in a normal way. And I did think about that. Like, that pissed me off. And I'm just being as honest as I can be. I didn't want to repeat it.
Yeah, no, you're always in that position. As a journalist, you're always there like, do I repeat it?
Well, if you know the person.
And spread it?
Or well, kind of. And it's like so wounding. And I mean, he attacked my wife, as I said. So I don't know. I'm sensitive on that.
So let me ask
you
Maybe
I made the wrong call, by the way, probably.
So now having done it, what do you think of him?
About Fuentes?
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. I did not make Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is he's just enormously gifted as a broadcaster. I mean, it's unbelievable. His talent is. I mean, I have done that job. Not the Holocaust jokes, obviously, but I mean, I've sat in front of a camera and talked. He's really good at it. He has not been canceled. He can't be canceled. So I kind of think of Fuentes in terms of like, what place does he occupy in what does he say about our society? And I'm not making excuses for anybody else's views. I'm just saying as a factual matter, if this is the most popular person among young men, young white men, then we need to like start thinking about why that is, and we need to reflect on what we have collectively done to young men, which is destroy them, actually.
What? Is this dude crazy? So basically, it's like we have to, in order for us to find out why this vile person is so popular, let's give him platform to make him. I don't understand. He's playing both sides, and you could tell right away. You know, he doesn't know where to take this. But it's pretty sad to see him here. He doesn't act like a journalist anymore.
And no one wants to say that because no one wants to take any responsibility at all for anything ever. No one ever wants to repent. They all want to cast stones. They don't see the plank in their own eye. This is including me. It's just humans are like this. And they want to be like Nazi. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, great. But like, how did this happen?
Why are they listening to him?
Kind of.
Can I ask you, so
and part of the reason is because the Republican Party completely betrayed its voters by obsessing over Israel. That's just a fact.
So once again, did he just like blame this Yahtzee problem to the Republican Party because they took Israel's back? It's pretty crazy how this guy makes everything about Israel, everything about the Jews. It's never these haters' problem, right? It's not about shutting down their hate. It's that not only that this hate happened, but it's Israel's fault, and that we should give it a platform. That's his solution, which is pretty.
It's like, what is this? It's a country of 9 million people. I'm not against Israel. I visited on vacation. I've always liked Jerusalem. Is my favorite city in the world. I'm not against Israel, but like, why is that the center of our conversation? It's 9 million people, no resources. The only strategic value Israel has is the extent to which we have to defend Israel. But take that out, and there's no value at all. I'm not against it. I'm just saying, like, we're a country of 350 million people. We're the most important country in the world, and our politics is, and practically every member of Congress spends all day talking about Israel. And if you're a normal person, you're like, I don't hate Israel. I certainly.
Did you just say that Israel has no value at all, besides that the weaponry that we sell to Israel? This dude is batshit crazy, and it's about to get crazier. Check it out.
I don't hate Jews. But what the hell is this?
But wait,
and then it's like, shut up, you can't talk about it.
But wait,
why?
Clarify what you mean, because when.
See, one thing he doesn't understand is that he continuously lies, and he says shit like this. That is like, that's the only thing worth that Israel has, is that America sells weapons to it. And we're going to understand why he says that. That's the craziest part about this whole interview.
You were winding up on, the Republican Party has abandoned young men. I was with you. Both parties have abandoned young men, especially the Democrats, though, for so many other reasons. But why Israel? You're saying the focus?
Because all the
focus
energy.
is over there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Trump is elected. I campaigned for him and I love Trump. I just want to say that. And I talked to him the other day, and I love Trump. And I've known him for 25 years, and I could write many books on Trump, and they would be positive, basically. But the second he gets elected, who's the first person to visit? Bibi. Then he comes again. Then he comes again. And it's like the energy of the administration and of the entire U.S. government is all of a sudden about Iran. A war with Iran? Really? How many people do you know who've been killed by Iran in the United States?
Okay, you see, another thing making our enemy look good, and there has been many attacks. So Iran, the way that they attack is through their proxies. In 1979, they basically unalived 250 Americans. They have unalived American soldiers through their proxies, Al-Qaeda. Right? Like, what is this dude talking about? He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I actually looked up the long list of Americans that Iran has unalived, and there's a long list. And it was done either by their proxies or by Iran themselves. So what is he trying to talk about? Like, as if Iran is not such a threat. They should, every time they meet up in the parliamentary, they always have to make sure before and after they shout, what's name? Magba America, which means death to America. So I don't know what this dude is talking about.
Your life. That's the number. How many people do you know who've died of a drug OD? Some. Maybe you have a nephew who did. So, like, what is this? I know you want to have regime change in Iran. I'm not mad at Israel at all. I'm not actually mad at Israel. I'm mad at our leaders for spending their time and my money focusing on someone else's country. And then I'm doubly mad because that's a total betrayal of the promise, which is your government works for you because you own the government, because it's a democratic republic. Like, what the hell is going on? And then if you say anything about it, it's like, you're a Nazi, you're an anti-Semite. Well, actually, I'm not. And I'm in a really great place to say that, because I'm really am not. Sometimes they say that, it like doesn't bother me, because I think it's, in fact, by the way, I think they are attacking.
Also, I wanted to add, this is very un-American with this whole America First movement. It has been infiltrated by Pakistan First. But anyway,
me because I'm like, who would disagree with what I'm saying? I'm just, maybe you do. Okay, you do, but
yeah,
you
you hear that people say they disagree.
What is the answer? Why would the U.S. government spend all this time? No, it's a sincere question. Why is the overwhelming majority of the U.S. Congress taking money from a foreign unregistered lobby? Like, what?
Okay, once again, you see another lie. AIPAC is not a foreign lobby. It is a American lobby that is funded by Americans. You see, this guy continues to lie.
Like, what is the answer?
From AIPAC.
Why is that okay? And they want to prevent you from asking that question, because there really isn't a good answer other.
No, you could ask that question, but you cannot ask it wrongly, right? You see, he doesn't even understand that that AIPAC was not even 120, top 120. They didn't even make the list from 23 to 24. Why is he deflecting from actual real foreign lobbies? I don't understand, but you will understand from his answer in just a second.
Then shut up. And if that's the only answer, I just, by my temperament and my age, I'm just not going to shut up, because that's not hate, it's sincere. What is that?
What do you make of the folks who say Israel is our most important ally in the Middle East? They're in a very tough neighborhood. They have our shared Western values. They have our back. We have their back. And that we have much more in common with the people in Israel than we do with some of these surrounding countries.
I would say, what are you talking about?
Pushing things like Sharia law, which I heard you comment on.
Okay. What's happening in Gaza, which is the killing of civilians because they are related to terrorists, they've said that too. This is not a left-wing talking point.
Yep, once again, he made up another lie, and you hear the crowd, they're all shouting at him because he's making up a lie. Israel is not unaliving peoples because they're part of some tribe. You see, once again, he continuously makes Israel to be the racist. This is why people call him out, because he continuously lies. And we're going to find out why he does it.
Have you read
you guys
what
are fiery
Israeli...
tonight.
It's just a fact. Read Ben-Gvir, Smotrich on this. These are sitting cabinet ministers in the current government saying, starve them out, kill them, kill their children. This is like a cabinet secretary. Current government in Israel saying this out loud. That is not Western, that's Eastern. That is totally incompatible with Western civilization. We don't punish the innocent, period, under any circumstances, or else we're as bad as the people we're fighting. And that, by the way, the US government has done the same, and I've complained about it a lot. And no one has ever called me names for criticizing my own government. So why is it verboten to criticize somebody else's government thousands of miles away? What the hell?
It's because you're lying while you do it. Like that's the only reason. Like this guy doesn't understand that he continuously to repeat lies without having any basis to it. That's why we have a problem with it.
What are you talking about?
That is a great
I just
question.
believe in the principle. And second, tell me why they're our most important ally. Right down the road, you've got countries that have like the bulk of the world's energy supply. That's not an important ally? What? If you're looking at the lens of what's good for America, you don't want to make unnecessary enemies. I like Israel for the 8th time. How many people have been there on vacation just because they like it? I have. I took my kids. I'm not against it. I don't want it to get hurt. But from a geostrategic point of view, your duty, if you're running the State Department or running the White House or a member of Congress, is to serve the people who elected you in your country. So you need to think seriously, as you do with your own children, what's good for them. And one thing that's good for them is being allies with countries that have a lot of energy because it makes civilization run. That's
So once again, he's saying it is better for America to go with Qatar because Qatar has more oil than to go with Israel. Right? He is trying to say that we have more values, we have more benefit with siding with Qatar than we have with Israel. And he has deflected from the main question that that Israel shares more of a common values with America versus Sharia law. And he's saying, no, we have more benefit from Sharia law because they have a lot of oil. It doesn't matter that they're buying off our colleges. It doesn't matter that they're number one lobbying. He had an issue with lobbying, and Qatar is the number one lobby, a foreign lobby. Yet he has glossed over that. He doesn't want to talk about it, and he's saying that they're our greatest ally. He wants to focus on Israel. He wants to focus on AIPAC, which is a American lobby and not a foreign lobby. This is the reason why he's not talking about Qatar being one of the top 10 foreign lobbies in America. He wants to keep the focus on Israel. See, Tucker Carlson, I've said it. It's true now.
why, et cetera, et cetera. So like that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay. I think we've covered the Israel thing.
I mean, those are not Nazi views. Those are
No,
this
those
is
are
why
not
they
Nazi
hated
views.
Trump from day one. When he
Once again, he's making up another lie. Whoever hated Trump for being America first? You see, he just continues to lie. He's saying that me and Trump, the pro-Israel, they hated us because we're thinking of America first. Trump has been thinking about America first. That's why he has Israel's back. But this guy is Qatar first, even if it's against America or America's interests.
said America first, a lot of smart people thought, whoa, if you put America first, then you're going to put Israel second. And that's why they hated Trump. That's why they hate me. But most people in both parties, at least
hated Trump
conceptually,
for
will
that?
agree with that because there's no real argument against putting your own country first because that's the purpose of your government.
Now, there's a big difference when you actually make your allies first and your enemies second. Right? That's the big difference here.
So here we are, we're 20 minutes in, and we've already devoted a lot of time to the topic of Israel and whether somebody's an anti-Semite and all that. And I just feel like this is taking over the discussion on the right. It's taking, and it shouldn't be. We have our own problems here at home. With all due respect, I